Hello. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've seen on other YouTube channels. I've heard other people say when trying to witness to them. I just hear this a lot. I didn't walk away from God because of anything my parents did, or because church wasn't effective, or my youth pastors didn't teach me what I needed to know. I made a comment in a previous video that I don't really remember a whole lot from my youth pastor, except for a few unimportant things. Those just happen to be the things that stick out. Doesn't mean that I don't remember in my heart what he taught. All right? I know my fourth grade teacher taught me a bunch of stuff, but I don't remember who she is or what she taught me. I don't remember a single lesson. But I couldn't have just not learned stuff for an entire year. Much like that, I still learn stuff from my youth pastor. I still learn from my parents, my aunt and uncles, my pastors, all through growing up. I didn't walk away because I had some bad experience at church. Quite the opposite. I really have fond memories of church. I loved church growing up as a kid. That's not to say I didn't occasionally want to stay home and watch RoboCop in the evening at Sunday night service, but my parents showed me the error, and I went, and that was that. You know, I was 12. Who doesn't want to stay home and watch RoboCop? But when I walked away, it wasn't because of what they did or because I had some bad taste in my mouth. I walked away because I was pursuing sin. I was doing my own thing and going my own way. Had nothing to do with them. And yet, all the time, I read comments of, I had to walk away from the church because they weren't teaching me anything, or I walked away because they were rude to me, or they were not good people. Okay, look, there might be a small percentage of people out there who walk away from the church because of something actually bad happening at the church, or some oppressive things from their parents, or strict, out of control legalism, or something like that. There's always that small percentage. But by and large, most of you who complain about the reasons why you walked away because you didn't have a relationship with God. Let's just keep it simple. You did not have a relationship with the Lord God Almighty. Because if you do, it doesn't matter what happens at some church by some individual, because you love God. I could see something bad happening at church now and it not affecting my walk with Christ at all. Because it wouldn't. I'm not going to question God. I'm not going to stop living by His principles. The entire reason you walked away was because you didn't have a relationship with God. Quit blaming it on your parents. Quit blaming it on church. Quit blaming it on everything else, and just take responsibility. My parents were great. I, to this day, still remember a lot of their lessons. And the lessons from my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and my cousins and every other person that touched my life at church. I may not remember everything that every single one of them taught me, but it's still in here. We have gotten into way too big of a habit of shifting blame to other people. No, if you walked away from the church, don't say it's because of how the church treated you. You walked away because you were pursuing your sin. If somebody told you or get it in here into the screen, condemned you, they probably didn't condemn you. They were probably convicting you of your sin. You didn't like it and decided to walk away. It's not hard to figure out. If you're an alcoholic and somebody at your church tells you you need to figure out how to quit that and give it over to God and walk away from it, and you don't want to, don't blame them. You weren't trying to serve God. Quit shifting your blame for walking away from church and from God onto other people. It was you. It's always been you. When you stand before God, He's not going to care that this person said whatever, he's going to be like, what does that have to do with your relationship with me? You never had one. You didn't pursue it. You pursued your sin over me. There's no two ways around it. You sinned. You walked away. You turned your back on the Lord God Almighty. But guess what? If you're watching this, it's not too late. Turn your life back over to God. Put your sin behind you. Ask for forgiveness. And start pursuing a relationship with Him. Repair those broken relationships. If somebody did hurt you, hey, guess what? Forgive them. If you have a hard time forgiving them, you can watch my video on forgiveness, or you can just pray about it until it happens. There is nothing that can't be forgiven. Seek the Lord, reestablish your relationship, and find out what it actually means to have a relationship with God, instead of hanging your opinions of church on what you think it should be, and actually get in the Bible and figure out what it should be. If you don't like your church, hey, guess what? There's tons of them around. Find a new church. Not gonna hold your hand on this one. Get a relationship with God and quit blaming everybody else for your lack of one. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later on the I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later on a deeper Christian experience. Bye.